Good morning. And welcome. I am Carla Chooks. I am the Academy Program Manager of Basic Recruit Training here at Florida Public Safety Institute. And on behalf of Executive Director Hartman and our FPSI team, we say welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you will notice, we have about 5-6 recruits that have medallions around their neck. Those are military medallions, and we'd like to thank them for their service. If you would please stand. If there's any other military in the room, prior or current, will you stand as well? Any other current or prior military? Thank you so much for your service. Thank you. You may be seated. As certified correctional probation officers, you're entering a profession that extends far beyond supervision. You will serve as agents of accountability, guidance, and change. Your role will require sound judgment, strong communication, and a commitment to upholding the law while supporting offenders' rehabilitation and community safety. This training program has equipped you with the necessary knowledge, skills, and ethical foundation necessary to succeed. There will be moments that will challenge you mentally, physically, and emotionally. But those moments are what will shape you into a capable and confident correctional professional. Remember, you are not here by chance. Each of you have taken the first step toward a career that demands integrity, resilience, and dedication. To the families and supporters in attendance, thank you for your encouragement and your trust. Your support played a vital role in the success of these recruits. Recruits, stay committed, stay disciplined, and embrace the process. We look forward to watching you grow and succeed, and welcome. Next, we will have the invocation by Recruit Zachary Landers.
Colleagues, friends, and family, today we gather in celebration and thanksgiving to honor the graduation of Basic Recruit Classes 602 and 603. Nearly 4 months of diligent study and focus have brought these graduates to the threshold of a new career in service to the great state of Florida and the United States of America. John Augustus, the father of the probation movement, believed the object of the law is to reform criminals and to prevent crime, and not to punish maliciously or from a spirit of revenge. As we prepare to enter service as probation officers, may each new officer be guided by faith in this principle. May we make it a foundational part of each day's work and a reminder of why we chose to enter this career of service. May each of us have the courage to uphold the law and the judgment to always conduct ourselves honorably. Above all, let each officer be protected at home, in the office, and on the streets by the sovereign hand of his or her higher power.
And next, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Christopher Hammond.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, you can please be seated.
Thank you, Hammond. Next up, we're going to have our guest speaker, Mr. Joe Winkler, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him as he makes himself to the stage. Joe Winkler serves as the Assistant Secretary of Corrections with the Florida Department of Corrections, where he provides oversight of over 140 probation offices statewide and direction to correctional staff supervising 150,000 adult felony offenders. He also provides a direct oversight to 4 community corrections regional directors, as well as the Bureau of Probation and Parole Field Services and the Bureau of Community Corrections. Mr. Winkler started with the department in 2001 as a probation officer. He has served the department in multiple roles, holding every certified position and being promoted to his current position as a top executive in the Florida Community Corrections. Mr. Winkler received a Bachelor's of Arts degree in criminology from St. Leo University. He serves on the Board of Directors with the Florida Association of Community Corrections and the National Association of Probation Executives. He is on the Florida Commissioner of Interstate Compact and on the Board of Governors with the American Correctional Association. Mr. Winkler is also a member of the National Institute of Corrections Probation and Parole Executives and an American Probation and Parole Association. If you will, help me welcome Mr. Joe Winkler.
Recruits, family of the recruits, and fellow co-workers, how about a big round of applause for basic recruit classes 602 and 603. Recruits, are you all excited? Yes, sir. I hope you are, because you're going to make a big transition in the upcoming weeks from being from a correctional probation officer recruit to a correctional probation officer. And as you transition back into your offices, you're going to find out pretty quickly you're going to be heroes, because they're waiting on you all to get back. And for basic recruit class 602, I know you had countless hours of training, over 550 hours of training throughout the academy that included defensive tactics, physical fitness, CPR, and countless hours of classroom training. And for 603, you had a lot of classroom training as well. No matter what class you were in, quite the accomplishment for graduating. So congratulations to each and every one of you. I know during the academy you had a lot of really good instructors, and their instruction prepared you to pass your end of the block exams along with the state exam. Also sprinkled in with that, they talked to you a little bit about what you can expect when you get back to your respective offices as a correctional probation officer. In the course of my next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to talk a little bit about Probation 101, fill in some of the gaps that they had talked about, and essentially talk about the what, how, and why you're for probation officers. And I'll start with the what. And if I were to ask each one of you to take a few minutes and write down on a piece of paper what you felt like probation officers did, then pass it up and I started reading it back to you all, I'm pretty sure the answers would be pretty consistent. You would say that probation officers, they protect the public, which is a really good answer because it's consistent with our mission statement and consistent with mission statements of other probation agencies around the country. So the what you do is a pretty easy answer. Where it gets a little bit more complicated is how you protect the public. And I'll talk about 4 ways that I'll share with you 4 ways that I feel like you should protect the public as a correctional probation officer. The first way I'll talk about protecting public is by monitoring and enforcing conditions of supervision. The second way I'll talk about protecting the public by reporting all willful noncompliance to the Sentencing and Releasing Authority. The third way will be providing positive reinforcement to the people you supervise. And the fourth way will be providing tools and resources to your people, not just to be successful in supervision, but to be more productive members of the communities that we all live in. So we talk about the first one, the monitoring and enforcing conditions of supervision. Each person that you supervise are going to have the same standard conditions of supervision along with the special conditions that's imposed by the Sentencing or Releasing Authority. A standard condition is just that, pretty easy, pretty basic. Could be as anything from having to remain in their residence, not changing it without your permission, maintaining gainful employment, or paying the money they're required to pay through the courts and what they were to do. A special condition would be something that's imposed that's special or unique to their supervision. It could be that somebody's placed on grand theft. They may owe a bunch of restitution. That special condition may be that they have to pay restitution. Or it could be that they committed an offense that involved a substance abuse offense. possession of cocaine or use of cocaine or marijuana. And in that situation, the judge may impose a condition to complete substance abuse treatment. Or it could be that they're on probation for an aggravated battery, have a victim, and the special condition may be that there's no contact with the victim. No matter what the standard conditions or what the special conditions are, you're going to treat every situation with the people you supervise the same way. What I mean by that is the very first time you see somebody on supervision, whether it's their first day on probation or they've been on probation for 10 years, you need to make sure you pull out those probation orders and go over each one of the conditions that they need to comply with. Each one of the standard conditions, followed by each one of the special conditions. That's important because at that point, you're letting them know what the expectations are for them from you as a probation officer and what's expected of them to comply with those terms of supervision. Also, each month when they come in, you're also going to have to pull those probation orders out. Go over those orders with them again, the things that they still have to comply with. If they have a special condition that hasn't been completed, talk to them about that special condition. It's really important you do that. So when you talk with your population in the office, that's the time that you perform each of your mission critical activities that you can do, whether it's transferring somebody to another office, out of state, or even drug testing somebody, which you will do quite a bit. You do a lot of those mission critical activities right there in the probation office. The second part of that is you're going to do a lot of things in the field. And I must say, as a probation officer, I love doing field work. I love going out there, seeing what my people that I was supervising, what they were doing at their work or at their houses that they lived in. When you all go out in the field, you're going to go to residences, and there's really three things that you're probably going to do when you're at the residence. One, you may go up and just do a routine home visit to somebody. What I mean by that is, as you walk up to the front door, you may knock on the door, the person come to the front door, you talk to them for a few minutes, and you leave. That's a routine visit. What isn't a routine visit is you pulling up in the vehicle, staying at the end of the driveway, blowing the horn for that person to come out. They come out, you wave to them and say, have a good day, and leave. That's not a routine visit. A routine visit is when you actually talk to that individual that's on supervision. But the other part of that, or another part of that, is when you have the luxury to conduct walkthroughs of residences of the people that you supervise, I would encourage you to make that a common practice when you go to a residence. Make sure you walk through that residence, see what the person, how they're living, see what's in their residence, look at their quarters, look at what they're doing, see who they're hanging out with. If you do that, that's effective supervision, and it's a tool that we have that's at your disposal to be able to do those walkthroughs. Another form of what we do when we're in the field is what we call warrantless planned searches. I know you all had a search day, probably one of your better days you had in the academy. Probably had a lot of laughs, a lot of good times with your fellow classmates, but it's something serious that we do out in the field. We do about 5,500 to 6,000 searches every year throughout the state. When you get back to your offices, you're going to find out you're going to be part of those searches, and it's going to be one way to see if people are in compliance with their conditions of supervision. That first part, that monitoring and enforcing conditions of supervision. Please take that seriously, go through those residences, and you're going to find out there are going to be times when your population is not in compliance with their terms of supervision. And I'm going to take you back to a time, March of 2019, when we had some probation officers, our Inverness probation office. They went out to do a routine warrantless planned search. When they went out to start the search, they found some things they weren't supposed to find. At that point, they went ahead and backed out. They called the Citrus County Sheriff's Department, asked them to get a warrant, come back and finish the search. When it was all said and done, they found multiple firearms, 1 pound of methamphetamine, 3 grams of fentanyl, or 3 grams of heroin, 1 milliliter of fentanyl, 12 grams of cocaine, and 34 pounds of marijuana. When it was all said and done, Sheriff Mike Pendergrass, the sheriff at the time, issued a press release, and he said that it was the biggest methamphetamine bust in Citrus County history. If it wasn't for the diligent work of our probation officers, that would have never happened. I'll fast forward 3 months later in that same office, same county, some of the same officers went out to another residence. They did a search, just like I mentioned a minute ago. They started the search and once again found some things in that residence they shouldn't have found. So once again, they backed away, communicated with the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department got a warrant, came out and did a search of the residence. When it was all said and done this time, they found 167 grams of methamphetamine, 100 grams of cocaine, over 1,100 prescription pills, and 48 pounds of marijuana. The street value of the drugs they found were $970,000. Once again, Sheriff Pendergrass issued another press release, and this time he didn't say it was the biggest methamphetamine bust in Citrus County history. He said it was the biggest drug bust in Citrus County history. If it wasn't for our diligent work of our probation officers, once again, it wouldn't happen. That's monitoring and enforcing conditions of supervision in the first part of how you protect the public. The second way you protect the public is by reporting willful noncompliance to the sentencing and releasing authority. I'll take you back to a dark day or some dark days in probation, all the way back to February 1st of 2004. On that day, which was Super Bowl Sunday, there was an 11-year-old girl named Carly Brewski that lived in Sarasota. She was walking home from her friend's house to her parents' house. As she was walking home, she walked by a car wash. As she walked by that car wash, she was abducted, later raped, and killed. This event her abduction was caught on the car wash video. It made national media attention. Then when they found the person who did it, they found out this person, Joseph Smith, was on felony probation, supervised by a probation officer just like you. National media attention wasn't just for the video, but for the scrutiny that they gave to Florida probation officers. The reality is the probation officers didn't do anything wrong. It was the perpetrator, Joe Smith, that did something wrong when he abducted this young child, raped her, and killed her. Fast forward once again, 6 months later, another incident happened with Florida probation when an individual named Troy Victorino that lived in Daytona took 3 of his friends to a residence that he lived in about a week earlier. He was kicked out of. He went back to this residence to retrieve his belongings. When he got there, the people in the residence didn't want to let him in, so a scuffle ensued. Before it was all said and done, Mr. Victorino, along with 3 of his friends, brutally beat and killed the 6 people in the residence, along with the family dog. This also made national media attention. In the following legislative session, there was legislation passed that impacted us, which identified violent felony offenders of a special concern. But internally, it did something far worse than that. It sparked something that we called zero tolerance. I'm sure all of you in the group have heard of zero tolerance. Even though these events happened 22 years ago, it still lingers in the Department of Corrections. Zero tolerance for an officer actually was a pretty easy time because we knew at that point we didn't have discretion. If somebody wasn't complying with their terms and conditions of supervision, we automatically put them in jail or did that VOP affidavit and warrant. I had people coming into the probation office during zero tolerance that was slightly behind on supervision fees or court costs. We would lock them up, put them in jail. For an officer, once again, it was kind of easy. However, it eroded the confidence of our stakeholders throughout the community. Think about it. If we increased the number of people that we were arresting by a lot, did that mean that there were sheriff's departments that had to come to transport those people? A lot more transports. They didn't like that. Then they would take them to the county jail that was already overfilling, and we were overfilling them even more because we were violating people for minor technical violations and placing them in jail. The same thing with our judicial stakeholders, our judges, our state attorneys, and public defenders. We were really clogging those dockets up. We had a lot of things that went on during that time that eroded the confidence with a lot of our stakeholders that took many years of getting out of. As time went on, we rolled out of zero tolerance, even though it seems like it was just yesterday. It was many, many years ago. As we started to roll out, we looked at alternate ways that you all can report technical non-compliance to people that were on supervision. The first thing we created was a technical violation notification letter, a one-page letter that lets the courts know if somebody's in non-compliance of a minor technical violation, essentially asking for direction. When you all get back to your respective locations, please look at this technical violation notification letter because it's going to be one of the tools that you're going to use to report some of the technical non-compliance. Then after that, we rolled out a program called the Alternative Sanctioning Program. We started it in 2012. Ironically, we started it in Sarasota County, the same place that Carly Brewski was abducted and killed at. And through the Alternative Sanctioning Program, if you have somebody that has a minor technical violation they've committed and you want to do some kind of admonishment, have some kind of sanction for them for violating that condition of supervision, you have the luxury of looking at that administrative order that's signed by the judge and having somebody do some extra steps while they're on supervision. If they comply with that, then at that point, you're all good. If they don't, then at that point, you can notify the sentencing and releasing authority of that non-compliance. I said we started this program in 2012. We rolled it out throughout our circuits. Then in 2018, this program was codified or incorporated into Florida statute through the passage of House Bill 7125. Since its inception, we've reduced the number of technical violators going to prison by over 2,000 a year. you're probably asking yourself, well, how are we protecting the public if we're letting people remain in the community after they committed a violation? Well, you're going to run into people that you supervise that have gainful employment, they have families, things that people they are supporting, and if you were to throw them in jail for 30, 60, 90 days for a minor technical violation, it can impact that family support that they provide, because when we get out of jail, they have to start all over. So as you have people that commit not minor technical violations, look at these alternate forms that you have to report this non-compliance to the Sentencing and Releasing Authority. They are a big deal, and it really goes back to you as a probation officer having discretion on how you want to handle each of these cases. It's a really good tool, something that you have at your disposal. The third way that you protect the public, or how you protect the public, by providing positive reinforcement to the people you supervise. Couldn't help to notice when we said congratulations to you about 10 minutes ago, you all clapped and you all were very happy. You are happy with that positive reinforcement. Everybody in this room goes through the same thing. If we have positive reinforcement, somebody says thank you or good job, we really like that. The same thing goes with our offender population. You'll find out that pretty quick. And we have two really good programs that are positive reinforcement programs that will be at your disposal. One of them you'll have at your disposal immediately when you become a probation officer, and that is the use of our telephone reporting system. We started our telephone reporting system way back in 2012 also through a program that we call Independent Reporting Status. What we did in that program is we looked at our low-risk individuals, ones that we call minimum offenders, allowed them to report telephonically as long as it was approved by the officer and supervisor in lieu of reporting to the probation office. We had this program for about 7 years. Then in 2019, we found a vendor that provided these same services through a streamlined mechanism, and that now we call the program the Interactive Offender Tracking System. The difference between the two programs is the new system uses voice biometrics, so when people call in, we know it's them through voice biometrics, and everything is done automated. We don't have to do a thing. They call in, they answer a series of questions. At that point, when they're through, they hang up, it goes into case notes. You can look back at it to see if you need to do any other mission-critical activities with them. A really good program, and something you're going to have at your disposal immediately when you get back to your offices and become a certified probation officer. The program's great. You know, evidence-based research, and I'll say that term a couple times in the next few minutes, says if you over-supervise your low-risk individuals, it's counterproductive. We found that out because our success rate for the individuals on our telephone reporting system is 22% higher than our mainstream caseload. That's what positive reinforcement does, and it's a really good program that you will have readily available to you in the next few days as you become certified. The second program we have called is the Merit-Based Activity Program. When you all get out, you're going to be correctional probation officers. You all know when you promote to that next level as a senior officer, you're either going to be a drug offender probation officer or a community control officer. I'll tell you, if you ever have a chance to be a community control officer, it is a sweet gig. I loved it, did it for a long time. It's a pretty intensive supervision. The success rate of the individuals that are on community control are right at 27%, really, really low. But the program for you is a pretty good program because they report once a week, give you the hourly accounting of where they're supposed to be. You go out and see them once a week in the field. I know it's pretty intense, but it's a really good supervision to be part of. Through this community control program, we learned many, many years ago that we have a lot of people going back to the courts for not complying with the community control schedule. And one of our longtime community control officers back in 2014, named Darrell Williams from the Mariana Probation Office, said, you know what? He learned that with these people that were violating community control, a lot of them were out of place, but when he did a little more homework on it, he found out that they were going and spending time with their family. And he threw back evidence-based research at us and said, you know what? Evidence-based research says if you have family support, your chances for success go way up. So he recommended a program that we now have called Merit-Based Activity, which allows our community control officers, for people that are in compliance on community control, to go spend time with their family up to 4 hours a month. A really good program. I mentioned the 27% success rate. Since we've started this program, we've had over 500 people participate in the program. The success rate for those individuals are right at 90%, almost 4 times higher. That is what positive reinforcement does, and it's another how of how you protect the public. And the last way I'll talk about protecting the public is through the use of the resources you have at your disposal. Once again, not just for people to be successful in supervision, but to be more productive members in the community. You're going to find out there's a lot of resources out there. We can probably stand up here for 2.5, 3 hours just talking about resources, but I'll just share 2 of them with you. The first one you all have access to, and that is the use of your employment specialist. We have 20 employment specialists throughout the state, 1 in each judicial circuit, and they specialize in just what their title is, employment. They teach employability skills. They also know the companies in the community that provide employment to people that are placed on probation. If you have somebody placed on probation or they become unemployed while they're on probation, I highly recommend that you refer them to these employment specialists, because evidence-based research once again says if somebody's gainfully employed, their chances for success and being more productive in the community goes way up. And you're going to find out it's a really critical factor that determines if somebody's going to be successful or not. And you're going to look at arrest reports when somebody's arrested over the weekend or during the course of the supervision, and more often than not, those people that are arrested are unemployed. Then you're going to look at the people that successfully complete supervision. You're going to find out that people that successfully complete supervision are those people that are employed. It's a great resource having that employment specialist, so please take advantage of that, because it will aid in success of your offender population. Another resource I'll talk about, not all of you have access to at this point, hopefully one day in the future you will, but it is the use of our mobile probation units. The concept started way back in 2018 in our Circuit 15 Palm Beach County area, when a group of individuals met from different entities in one room. They talked about the jail overcrowding in Palm Beach County. They said a lot of the jail overcrowding comes from violation of probation, but more specifically, people not reporting to the probation office. So the evolution, or the idea of the mobile probation unit came about. Through that, we worked with the MacArthur Foundation, and several years later, we rolled out our first mobile probation unit that is essentially a probation office on wheels that goes out in the community. It provides the same services you can provide in a probation office, but they do it in the community where people live at. Since that time, the one we've got in Palm Beach, we've gotten several more since that time. They have been highly beneficial. Hopefully one day in the future, we'll have a mobile probation unit in each one of your areas, and if we do, that's one really good resource that will provide some support to the people that you supervise. Now, I mentioned all these hows, these 4 hows, and went through a lot of information with you. You're probably wondering, how successful is it? Well, all the ideas that I talked to you about, because of that, our success rate is right at 62%, but even more incredible than that is, out of the people that successfully complete supervision, over 91% of them don't come back to the department's custody, whether it's in an institution or probation, in a 3-year period. So if you do this, if you understand the concept behind everything I just said, you're going to be an elite probation officer, and you're going to increase those statistics because of your training and the things that you've heard and the way you practice being a probation officer. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is the why you want to be a probation officer. And hopefully none of you want to be a probation officer because you're going to be rich. Because I can tell you, you're not going to be rich, at least initially. Now, you make the right investments, you use deferred comp, utilize our high-risk retirement. One day you may be like Brylan Jacobs and be rich. But today you won't be, or at least starting off you won't be. But the why behind why you're a probation officer is really because you want to impact the lives of others. And I'll tell you a quick story of something that happened to me. Every Sunday I have a routine. Every Sunday afternoon I take my household trash to the county landfill. Essentially, I'm taking my trash to the dump. When I go to the dump, there's 4 different areas to dump my trash at, 2 outside bins and 2 inside bins. One day I took one of the inside bins. I went to throw my trash out, went to get back in my vehicle. As I went to get back in my vehicle, the guy in the other inside lane yelled out to me and he said, "Hey, Mr. Winkler, do you know who I am?" And as he said that, he said, "My name is Johnny Manning." And I didn't answer him right away because I started thinking about everything about Johnny Manning. I remember the first time I met Johnny Manning, he was sentenced to 2 years supervision for possession of cocaine. And just like anybody that I supervised, I had the same 3 rules. And the first time he came in, I said, "You know what, Mr. Manning, every month you come in, I want you to fill out your supervision report," or back then a written month report, truthfully and completely. I don't want any blanks on here. I want this filled out properly. The second thing I want you to do, if you're not employed, to bring in job search logs. If you are employed, I want you to bring in your most recent pay stub. And the third thing I want you to do is, every time you come in here, I want you to be prepared to take a drug test. What I meant by that is, 1, drink a bunch of fluid before he comes in so he can produce a specimen. But even more importantly to that, test for me, test negatively, not positively. So for the course of the next 2 years, Johnny Manning did something that I didn't expect. because a lot of the people that I supervised in the area that he lived in, they would either go out and commit new offenses for selling dope on the streets, they would abscond from supervision, or do something wrong that really impacted probation. But every time I dealt with Johnny Manning, every month he came in, he had a supervision report filled out properly. He had his pay stub showing he was employed. And then he also passed those drug tests, and I was so impressed. So the day at the dump when he asked me if I knew who he was, I said, yes, I know who you are, Johnny Manning. I said it just like that, and I went to get back in my truck. As soon as I went to get back in my truck, Johnny yelled back out to me, and he said, hey, Mr. Winkler. I don't know how he knew what to do from here, but when I turned around, he waited for me to look exactly dead in his eye, and he said, thank you. He said thank you to me. I didn't say anything to him. I got back in the truck. I started driving away, and I said once again to myself, I said, Johnny Manning said thank you to me. I should have been thanking him. You know why I should have been thanking him? Because he proved to me every interaction I had with him, the 2 years he was on supervision, all the lag time through the years until I saw him again at the county landfill, he proved to me or echoed to me that the criminal justice system works. The judge could have easily placed this person in prison for 2 years, but he elected to place him on probation for 2 years. He gave this person an opportunity to be successful and be a productive member in the community. As I said a minute ago, he didn't bring in job search logs. He brought in his pay stub. This gentleman maintained gainful employment during the entire period of supervision. He did a really, really good job. He verified to me that the criminal justice system works. As you all go back to your areas and you start supervising people, you're going to have contact with a lot of people on your caseload. Most all of them, or hardly any of them are going to tell you thank you for what you do, but I guarantee you a lot of them will really appreciate what you do because you're impacting their life. I hope when you all go back at some point you have that aha moment and know and really realize what you do as a probation officer means a lot. You are some of the most important members of the criminal justice system. Think about all those things I said you're going to have to do as a probation officer, all those different hats you're going to wear, everywhere from enforcement to providing resources to impacting the lives of others. You're coming to a phenomenal profession. I know you're going to be an elite probation officer. Please take the training you learned during the course of the last 3 months and what you heard today back to your offices. Listen to your field training officers. If you do everything that we had talked about, you're going to become a phenomenal probation officer. So with that being said, I congratulated you when I started. I'm going to end by saying good luck to you. Good luck to you with your career in the Florida Department of Corrections. I'm pretty confident the Department of Corrections is going to exceed your expectations. I'm real confident you're going to exceed ours as well. So once again, congratulations and good luck.
On behalf of FPSI staff and the graduating class BRC 602-603, Mr. Winkler, consider this hour with positive reinforcement to you. Thank you for being a guest speaker. Right. Good morning. I am Chiquita Robinson, and it was a pleasure and honor to serve as the coordinator for BRC 602-603. At this time, we will have President Whitley to come up for her class speech.
Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to God because we did not get here on our own. There were days we were tired, days we were stressed, and days we were questioning why we signed up for this in the first place. But through every moment, God carried us, and for that we say thank you. Today isn't just about graduating, it's about growth, it's about resilience. It's about who we became in the process. When we first walked in here, we were all individuals, different backgrounds, different personalities, different attitudes. Some of us were confident, and some of us were trying to survive day by day, test by test, and break by break. But somewhere between the long days and early mornings and everything in between, we became family. And what made this family special is what each person brought to it. Here's the power of impression and impact. When I talk about these things, a lot of y'all are gonna know who I'm talking about. First thing, ask questions, and I mean always. Never lose that, because the moment you stop asking questions is the moment you stop growing. Follow the book. If it's not in the book, don't accept it. Remain disciplined. Although it may not always be the easiest way, it's the way that builds integrity. Know your why, because when you understand the why, you move with purpose, not just instructions. No excuses. Show up, push through, and prove that at any age you can do anything you put your mind to. I also want to thank the Academy, our instructors, the staff, and leadership. Thank you for your time, your patience, and for pushing us. You didn't just train us, you prepared us. And to our family and friends, thank you for supporting us, praying for us, encouraging us, and standing by us, even on the days we were a little too hard to deal with. We couldn't have done it without you. And above all, keep God first in everything you do, because titles will change, positions will change, but your character, your integrity, and your foundation, that's what's going to carry you. BRC 602, 603, this isn't the end of our story, it's just the beginning. Congratulations, we made it.
Ms. Whitley, on behalf of the FPSI staff, your class, BRC 602, 603, and especially Ms. Robinson, I want to tell you thank you. Not a text message, not a call, Ms. Whitley was there, and I know her classmates agree, and they have that full support, so I appreciate you.
Thank you.
At this time, we will have the presentation of awards. First award is going to be the Criminal Justice Standard and Training Commission. Excuse me, the name of the award is the Executive Directors, and because we have two classes, it's going to be two. The Criminal Justice Standards and Training Commission requires basic recruit students to successfully complete a training program of 562 hours. The Correctional Probation Officer Program is comprised of 10 courses with 3 high liability areas: defensive tactics, firearms, and first aid. With these scores, I also want to make sure that it's mentioned that BRC 602, the class overall GPA was 93.06%. For BRC 603 class overall GPA, it was 90.47. And then this is just remarkable. We have BRC 592, which is also Mr. Pavsik by himself. His GPA was a 96.29. Nevertheless, the Executive Director's Award goes to the student who excelled above the class. For BRC 602, that is Zachary Landers with a 98. With a 98.40%. Good job, Landers. For BRC 603, with a grade point average of 97.43, that's going to be Mr. Brian Williams. Top Gun Award.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Al London. I'm firearms coordinator for the Academy. And firearms is a little more than just going out and shooting a target. They learn responsibility. We set the bar very high, and there is no, I repeat, no participation awards. They have to meet our standard. which is the standard of the Criminal Justice Standards and Training Commission. It's high. They have all learned how to follow directions, which sometimes is more difficult. They've learned how to buckle their belts, which is sometimes more difficult. They've learned how to count, which is sometimes more difficult. Nobody had to take their shoes off, so they did a good job. I'd like to call Jeremy Guthrie. Jeremy had a perfect score throughout every single task we threw at him, everything. We do daylight qualification, we do nighttime qualification, we've got a host of other tasks they have to learn. He did a great job with everything. Congratulations.
Defensive tactics.
Good morning. My name is Sam Garrig. I'm the Defensive Tactics Coordinator here at FPSI, and I have the privilege of training these officers for what I hear are absolutely the 2 best weeks of the Academy. For those of you in 603, if you missed it, we're starting another one with your group in the back in 2 weeks. Feel free to join them. All right. Defensive tactics includes a day and a half in the classroom for instruction, test review, and a written examination. And the class spends the remaining 70 hours learning and practicing about 30 different strikes, takedowns, and ground grappling skills, and they get to beat the heck out of each other in the process. The highlight of this time is everyone's favorite day of training, pepper spray day. Those of you coming in 2 weeks, please don't be afraid. I've heard that any tears you may see in the video from Pepper Spray Day are tears of joy, and the screams are screams of excitement. Everyone loved it. Again, 603, if you missed Pepper Spray Day, May 18th. The Defensive Tactics Award is not necessarily given to the person who is biggest or strongest, but to the individual who demonstrates the best technical proficiency while performing the techniques, who passes the physical performance testing portion with no mistakes, displays a positive attitude towards defensive tactics, works well with teammates, scored 100% on the exam in this case, and pushed his limits throughout DT. The Defensive Tactics Award for BRC 602 goes to Isaac Rivera Jimenez.
Next is Most Improved Physical Fitness Award. The physical fitness is a component that has been part of the program since 2008. This prepares them for the final physical fitness assessment, which includes push-ups, sit-ups, a 1.5 mile run, a vertical jump, and 300-meter sprint. Our Most Improved Physical Fitness Award goes to President Tyresha Whitley. Top Physical Fitness Award goes to the student who scored the highest in all aspects of physical training throughout the academy. That's going to be Mr. Zachary Landers.
Good morning. The Correctional Probation Senior Supervisor, Bajon Thompson Savinson, was a member of the Florida Department of Corrections for 10 years. Senior Supervisor Savinson was leaving work late one night when a parolee ambushed him in the parking lot. Senior Supervisor Savinson was a dedicated and loyal employee to the Florida Department of Corrections. The Correctional Probation Senior Supervisor Savinson Memorial Award is given to the recruit that most exemplifies the qualities and character of Senior Supervisor Bajon Thomas Savinson. These are commitment, dedication, humility, loyalty, and protector. To commemorate him, we have begun to honor a CPO recruit with his Memorial Award. And this award goes to Joanna Rodriguez.
At this time, we'll have the class video. At this time, Sergeant at Arms, please prepare the class for diploma presentation.
Class, attention. Right face. Forward, march. Left, 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 right, left, 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 right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, 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 right.
Mr. Timothy Buchanan. Ms. Chandrika Clark Castor. Miss Marlene Dennerville. Mr. Wesley Ferguson. Mr. Joshua Gilmore. Miss Elisa Gonzalez. Mr. Jeremy Guthrie. Mr. Christopher Hammond. Ms. Desaria Hawkins. Mr. Isaac Rivera Jimenez. Mr. Zachary Landers. Miss Nadina Owens. Mr. John Pavsik. Ms. Joanna Rodriguez. Mr. Norberto Rosa Soto. Mr. Charles Rosser. Mr. Christopher Sandoval. Mr. David Sharp. Mr. Trace Ward. Ms. Tyresha Whitley. Mr. Brian Williams.
Congratulations, guys. Next, we will have the Code of Conduct. Sergeant at Arms, will you prepare the class for the Code of Conduct?
Class, attention. I will never forget that I'm a public official, sworn to uphold the constitutions of the United States and the state of Florida. I am a professional committed to the public safety, the support and protection of my fellow officers and co-workers, and the supervision and care of those in my charge. I am prepared to go in harm's way in fulfillment of these missions. As a professional, I am skilled in the performance of my duties and governed by a code of ethics that demands integrity in word and deed, fidelity to the lawful orders of those appointed over me, and above all, allegiance to my oath of office and the laws that govern our nation. I will seek neither personal favor nor advantage in the performance of my duties. I will treat all with whom I come in contact with civility and respect. I will lead by example and conduct myself in a disciplined manner at all times. I am proud to selflessly serve my fellow citizens as a member of the Florida Department of Corrections.
If you guys will remain standing, we're going to have your oath of allegiance by Ms. Cassandra Moore.
You just got through saying the code of conduct. Don't let this be the last day to say it. Always take it and keep it in the back of your pocket or in your wallet or in your badge that they will give you. It will keep you humble and remain grounded. As we say the oath of allegiance, will all certified staff please stand and join me? When I say I, state your name, okay? Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will uphold the constitutions of the United States and the state of Florida, that I will obey the lawful orders of those appointed over me, and that I will perform my duties faithfully and in accordance with my mission to ensure the public safety, the support and protection of my coworkers, and the care and supervision of those in my charge. So help me God. Congratulations to you.
And next, we will have our benediction by Mr. Christopher Hammond.
Class, you guys can take your seats. Good morning. Thank you, family and friends, for coming to our BRC graduation of 602 and 603's graduation today. Classmates, as we continue in our career path in FDC, remember to follow the book. Ask questions. Trust that you can do anything. Also remember, there are many continuing education opportunities that are just waiting for you to discover. Also, as many of us are former military, there's a saying in the military that we are now a brotherhood. We are entering into another brotherhood, which means we share in some tears, laughter, and a little blood, and we've all survived. With this brotherhood, we are family. In closing, may our path be straight, our heart courageous, and our future bright. As we leave this place, remember to live with honor, integrity, serve with kindness, and to chase your dreams with dedication. Also, guys, we're almost done. We can break after this. Now go in peace, drive safe, and bring light to the world. Thank you.
I'm not going to go any further without acknowledging the instructors in the room, and we do have several here. I think this is going to be as many as I have seen at a graduation. If you guys will please stand at this time if you had any part in instructing these recruits. On behalf of BRC 602, 603, thank you. As Academy Manager of Basic Recruit Training, it is an honor to close this ceremony. Graduates, today marks the successful completion of a demanding and transformative journey. You have demonstrated discipline, perseverance, and professionalism, and you have earned your place as correctional probation officers. As you move forward, remember that serving as a CPO is more than a job. It is a responsibility, grounded in integrity, accountability, and commitment to both the public safety and offender rehabilitation. You will play a critical role in guiding individuals toward positive change while upholding the law and protecting your community. Let your training guide your decisions, your values anchor your actions, and your conduct reflect the standards of Florida Public Safety Institute. To the families and supporters, thank you for the continued encouragement and sacrifice. Your support has been instrumental in reaching this milestone. Graduates, congratulations on your achievement. We are proud of you and we wish you safety, strength, and success in your careers. You are now part of a profession that makes a lasting impact. Go forward, serve with integrity and purpose. Congratulations. Sergeant at Arms, will you release your class for the last time?